actually surprised and excited na meron ulit na Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Medyo matagal na since we had the last one, and to be honest, this is something that I have mixed feelings for. But because it's there, it's kind of been like a Christmas tradition. It's been something that every year for the past how many years before they discontinued it would be a part of Philippine cinema. So I'm actually happy that they kind of brought it back. And although it's not part of the MMFFs for this year, it's still a nice way of commemorating horror and storytelling for Filipinos. Una-una ang Shake, Rattle, and Roll, yung experience niya, obviously it's a horror anthology movie. It's usually divided into 3 chapters or 3 individual stories. So the first, second, and third story are completely distant from each other, features different casts, features different directors. They're combined to feature storytelling and horror elements that are different from each other. And because of that, meron siyang tendency syempre na magkakaiba din yung direction, magkakaiba din yung quality. When I review a Shake, Rattle, and Roll film, it's treating each chunk or film separately from the other. And that's somewhat what I will do in this review. Let's start things off with the Iza Calzado one, which is the first, which is entitled Glitch. This is a story about this young child who kinda summons a demon. Medyo may American theme siya na parang may doll na nag-appear. And this actually involves a lot of different elements from different horror films that I've seen. Even the main demon or antagonist here, ang sabi nun yaya dito, no? Baal, but looks a lot like Krampus. Kasi goat din, no? So there's those elements that are included here that's so familiar, that's so tropish, but in a way it's still enjoyable. I didn't really love the acting of Iza Calzado and the kids here. I mean, Iza is pretty good, but then may moments kasi na naging action star siya dito rather than a horror movie. So medyo may inconsistency siya. I guess they're trying to involve different genres in this one story as well. The acting for me didn't make sense. I really didn't like it. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but in a way, the story was pretty decent. Again, it's very familiar. It's similar to a lot of horror stories that we've seen in the past, but this is definitely a gory movie. You don't necessarily see all of that gore. You kind of see it like it's in between the lines. It's subliminal, beheadings, and all of these things. Surprising enough, this is an extreme Shake, Rattle, and Roll because of that. Medyo maraming gore, medyo maraming nakakadiri moments, which was a nice touch and something we don't necessarily get that often from Filipino cinema. And that was actually pretty interesting to see this time around. It didn't really win me over in terms of the horror, in terms of the storytelling, but in terms of it as a whole, okay lang siya. I just lacked interest in it, especially going down the wire. Now, the second part is what we call mukbang. Now, honestly, I love this. It's goofy. It's not necessarily something you need to take seriously. It doesn't really work as a horror movie or as a horror story. In a way, the scenario that they're in, it feels a bit like Get Out, na parang, well, more of like monsters duplicating humans and, you know, being an influencer like this. And yung pala, may ibang motive na sila and pinapalawak nila yung it feels a bit like Secret Invasion, horror adjacent version. I loved it. I love the whole setup of it being a group of influencers. It's very modern, it's very relatable, I guess for me all the more, in this generation of TikTok and YouTubers. And I love how they were able to set it up with also a lot of influencers like Ninong Rai, who was a standout for me in this one. AC Bonifacio was also pretty good. And I love the fact that you get this dynamic group of people that's so engaging, so entertaining to see. And they were the highlights. The cast for this particular story were the highlights. The story in itself allowed them to grow, allowed them to have a good characterization despite it being a short amount of time. You invested in them, you liked what you were seeing, medyo relatable sila, and then it's, again, wacky, goofy, not something you take too seriously. It's not taking itself too seriously as well, which is great. Now, the last story is entitled Rage, which follows a zombie apocalypse na meteorite alien kind of thing. It's a typical zombie story. For me, yun lang yun. It's a typical survival of the fittest, takes in all of the elements of a typical zombie film. It has the settings in school, parang all of us are dead ba yun or something like that. And then it takes elements such as quiet place na may buntis, na may umiyak na bata, you have to be quiet and all of these things. So it's a typical zombie film. I love, however, that they were able to direct and create a zombie apocalypse here in Manila and make it look a bit realistic. I think we are getting into that lane that we can make zombie films like this. You know my point? We're getting into that, and that's what I liked about it. Although the very cliche moments talaga when it comes to this particular film, it's probably the weakest amongst the three in terms of the story because it's so plain, it's so simple, it's just direct to the point. But nonetheless, I love the costumes, the design, the makeup, the acting of the zombies. That I think was pretty intense and added to wrapping up this Shake, Rattle, and Roll Extreme into something exciting. For me, very tropish. Very tropish, Shake, Rattle, and Roll gets so many influences from different movies. There's nothing all that new. I did love Mukbang the most. When you go into a film like this, you're just there to have fun, to have an enjoyable experience, and that's what it delivers. It's not really the best and peak of movie making. Entertainment value, you do get pretty much a good sense of that. So I give this a score of actually just 6 out of 10, but it's still a pretty good film to watch if you're not looking into anything else to watch. If you've run out like me of what else to watch in cinema, then this is something that you can actually look into. Pwede na, okay na siya. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Once again, my name is Abraham. Continue to make every day into an adventure. Bye guys, God bless, and peace. See you on the next one.